So yesterday I did talk a bit about Terrifier 3, but the video that I was going to cut up and put up and stuff, the internet was not my friend yesterday. Apparently, it wasn't just me because it was a lot of people that was having internet interference and stuff going on. I think it was a lot of gusty winds and things of that nature. But nevertheless, enough of my woes. Let's get into the topic. So, Terrifier 3 had reason to celebrate. It was the first movie to go #1 at the box office. It actually, went clown to clown, or clown versus clown, up against Joker 2, Foley I Do Do. And Foley I Do Do continued to flop at the box office. Excuse me. It had an 81% drop in its second week. Terrifier 2 took the #1 spot, bringing in $20 million. Now, this is a 4 days because I didn't calculate what happened yesterday. So Monday, because it was a holiday, 4-day weekend, it brought in a little over $20 million on a $2 million budget. And their what do you call it? The promotional amount of money that they used was $500,000. So that's pretty good for a small little film that's budget is $2 million and you're bringing in $20 million to a bunch of producers, which is like very limited amount of money. And Damien Leone is someone who's very creative in regards of how he creates his movies, especially with the practical effects and things of that nature. So a lot of people was up in here living for Art the Clown, including myself. I went Thursday night, as for those of you who follow the show, you already know I gave my little review. I didn't do a full spoiler review, but I gave a little first assessment review because I want to give everybody a chance to see the movie. So, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the film. Like I said before, I wanted a little more backstory in regards. We got a little more backstory in regards of Sienna, things of that nature, but I wanted a little more in regards of Art. I wanted to know more about, I just wanted to know a little bit more lore. Yeah, the gore and stuff, the kills and everything were pretty gnarly. I was pretty much impressed with a lot of the homages, to Psycho and Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night, and all those films that he clearly was inspired by to make this film. And then the makeup jobs and everything was on point. So I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I just, like I said, I just realized that my other channel was open, so I had to close that. Overall, I enjoyed the film. Like I said, I feel like I pretty much liked Terrifier 2 more. And I think it was because even though a lot of people complained that it was longer, I felt like I got more out of the franchise with the backstory and getting to know the characters and really feeling for before Art took them out. Versus in this film, where you could definitely feel that there were pieces missing from this movie, as it was, I feel like that people were on him in regards of like, okay, you got to edit it down. So I do believe that Damien Leone implied that there may be an extended version that will be coming out, and I'm fingers crossed that actually happens. But he recently did an interview with Variety, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, it was Variety. And he basically gave a little insight in when he believes his Terrifier saga will come to an end. Because quite honestly, as someone who likes this franchise and someone who likes digging into more of the lore, and I feel like they're going to go a little more supernatural with the next one because he did tease an epic battle. Like, I really feel like if you saw the movie, spoiler alert, her cousin ends up getting sucked into the floor and taken to this other dimension, all this other stuff, because, Vicky, when her head was cut off by Sienna, it melted a hole into the ground and opened up this portal or whatever that her cousin got sucked into. And her cousin has the sword. So then we also saw that Sienna could regenerate. So, because like when her hands got smashed by Art, and I did cackle a lot whenever he would walk past her and smack her upside the head. That part actually was pretty funny. But when we saw her hands, regenerate, and then when he smashed her hands up so that way she could open that gift, that turned out to be the sword that she did put behind the tree for Christmas, just to have it in case she knew that Art was going to come get her around that time. Her hands immediately came back to form. They weren't smashed up anymore. The hands, when they got cut by the knife, regenerated. So there's some sort of power and connection, obviously, with this sword that we have, that of course now the cousin has in this world. So I do feel like in part 4 we're going to get more of her going in, and of course he could demand more money with this because the movie was so successful, but not too much where it's just going to go completely overboard and then fans will just all of a sudden be like, okay, I'm not liking the franchise anymore. So I do feel like it's going to take us to this world where it's like it's going to go more supernatural, probably take more of an Evil Dead approach, as in Army of Darkness. I could feel them kind of going in that direction, and I hope that we get more backstory in regards of, Art the Clown and his strengths and weaknesses and how, his power source and all that other stuff. So I really hope that they dig into that. But nevertheless, of my gripes with the film and my likes and dislikes, Damien did say this. He said the following. He said, there is no definitive answer at this time regarding how many more films I will make before concluding the Terrifier saga. Personally, I can't see it going further than 1 or 2 more films, but only time will tell. For now, I can say that with certainty that I know how it ends and it will be epic. So, as I stated before, Terrifier 3 slashed its way to #1 in North America over the weekend, earning $18.3 million in its debut. The third film sees David Howard Thornton return as a diabolical Art the Clown, who desecrates bodies left and right during the Christmas season. Terrifier has received positive reactions from both critics and audiences, scoring a B on CinemaScore and 76% on Rotten Tomatoes to date. Variety's chief film critic Owen Gleiberman wrote this review. I remember when Owen Gleiberman used to write for Entertainment Weekly. That's how far back I go with that man and his name. But anyway, so it says Terrifier 3 put the E in extreme, and it has an ace gimmick, one that simultaneously winks at and fulfills franchise expectations. It sets up Art the Clown as a fake Santa Claus who unleashes his mayhem on Christmas time. And so, yeah, I know a lot of people were feeling a way about a lot of the kills of the film, especially regarding kids getting killed in the film. What I did like about kids being killed off is that, the thing with Art is an equal opportunity offender. He's not going to be like Michael Myers, even though Michael did technically kill a kid in Halloween, David Gordon Green's Halloween, or Jason or one of those people, and then just like, oh, we don't kill kids. Like, he's got a moral code all of a sudden because that goes against, I guess, the MPAA or whatever. Art the Clown don't give a damn. He is a demon. He kills whoever gets in his way. He doesn't care. He kills little kids. He killed quite a few of them in this movie. So I actually like the idea that, well, one of the things I don't want to see kids get killed, so I like the fact that a lot of it was done off screen. I definitely had a mouth gaping moment when during the scene in the mall, if you know, and things of that sort. So a lot of the kills, yeah, they were gnarly, they were a little extreme. The one that really rubbed me the wrong way was with the aunt when she had the glass shoved in her mouth and then had the mice shoved in, and then the mice go down her throat and then they cut her throat open and the mice come spilling out. That was a bit much. I was like, okay, that's a bit, sadistic. I don't know. It's a little, but Damien Leone, his brain works, the way it works, and I like what he has so far, but like I said, I hope that he doesn't end up being the type of guy that's going to be doing Terrifier films the rest of his life, because I know, like, even though that's the film that made you a superstar and that made you famous and put you on the map, I don't think that he wants this to be the sole defining thing, that he wants to be just making Terrifier movies for the rest of his life. So I'm sure he probably has 1 or maybe 2 movies left in him. And I honestly, based off of what we've seen so far, I can't see them doing like what you see like with Friday the 13th and all those other, so where you're making 10 parts or something or another. I do feel like everything that has a beginning has an end. And I understand it's Hollywood, and Hollywood is in the business of making money. And as long as it sells and as long as it makes money, that we should be able to just make as many as we go along. But then again, when it comes to sequels and things of that nature, you don't want to overstay you're welcome, unless you could find a way, like the Saw franchise, and find a way to breathe new life into the franchise. Although I do feel like the people over at Saw made a huge mistake by giving Jigsaw terminal cancer. John, who created the whole Jigsaw situation, terminal cancer. And then y'all could have did some shit where he could have came in remission. But y'all messed that up. And so you pretty much backed yourself into a corner, and then you try to bring all these other side characters in who weren't as memorable or as entertaining as John. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Amanda, and she was definitely a good assistant to John and all the things that he was doing. But I just didn't care for all the other characters y'all were trying to bring in to be these new villains, because y'all realized that y'all backed yourself into a corner and you shot yourself in the foot, or whatever phrase you want to use. So, but they figured out ways of trying to make these sidequels and whatever, these in-between films. But I don't know how long y'all gonna keep that shtick up. It's the same thing with Terrifier. As long as, I guess, Damien has enough ways of building the lore and telling the stories, I'm sure there could be other things that he can create. But if he could also do something similar to like, the Conjuring universe, where you can create other characters within characters, so that way if we kind of get bored with Art the Clown. There's no more of his story to tell. That you could have other characters that you bring into this world, maybe more other demons similar to Art the Clown, or even more terrifying, kind of like a Cenobite-ish type of situation, where you can create all these other characters and and then create stories around them versus just solely relying on, you know, Art the Clown. Because I do feel like after a while, the Art the Clown vibe is going to go a little stale. So I definitely just see maybe one or two more movies being out of this before people get tired. Because I'm not somebody who wants to just sit around watching, you know, a rinse and repeat type of slasher. That kind of gets boring for me. So he did tease to get up off this. You know, we had like the iconic, inspiring Psycho tribute. If you know, you know. But he also said it will, and they talk about the next movie. It will certainly be an epic showdown, an epic closure to the Art of Clown saga. The idea I'm toying with in my head will probably be, in some regards, the most experimental, so I can't dive into it too much. Some really, really crazy thing will happen in the next one. So, yeah, I'm definitely curious to see where he's going to go with the story and what he plans to bring to the franchise in regards of, you know, Art the Clown and this and things of that nature. So I'm pretty much excited to see what Damien Leone has in store for the next film. In the meantime, my question is for you guys. Have you seen the new Terrifier 3? Or if it's not your zhuzh, whatever. But if you saw the film, what were your overall thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Is this not your cup of tea? Is the gore and stuff a little too much for you? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.